It's good to see you again in VNews. I'm Vi Hằng from Hanoi with the main stories. Vietnam commits to successfully implementing UN Sustainable Development Goals. National Assembly Vice Chairwoman Tong Thị Phóng attends Asian European Women's Forum. Hanoi sees strong economic performance in third quarter. President Trương Tấn Sang has affirmed Vietnam's strong commitment to successfully implement the Sustainable Development Goals, which were formally adopted at the United Nations Summit for the adoption of the post-2015 Development Agenda in New York.
After the opening ceremony on September 25th local time, world leaders at the summit adopted the new framework, Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which is composed of 70 goals and 169 accompanied targets to wipe out poverty, fight inequality, and attack climate change over the next 15 years. In his statement, the Vietnamese state leader stressed that the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development presents a new strategic vision that reflects the aspiration of humanity to live in a world of peace and prosperity, adding that it creates a framework and sets the direction for all nations to collectively respond to common challenges. He also highlighted Vietnam's key messages, stating that maintaining peace and security on the basis of respect for international law is the precondition for the successful implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. President Sang said successful implementation of the agenda requires strong political will and full and effective mobilization of domestic resources, and it is imperative to strengthen the global partnership for sustainable development. He expressed his hope that the agenda will be implemented for the interest of all peoples of the world, for a safer and better life for the children of today and tomorrow. Vietnam will make positive and responsible contributions to the process, he affirmed. On the sidelines of the UN Sustainable Development Summit, President Sang had a meeting with Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg, during which the two sides agreed that it is necessary to increase regular exchanges of delegations between businesses and ministries and localities of both countries. On the same day, President Trương Tấn Sang participated in a seminar with Vietnamese and U.S. businesses on the impacts of the Trans-Pacific Partnership on enterprises of both countries. Both Vietnamese and U.S. firms at the event expressed their hope that the two countries continue creating more favorable conditions for them to access each other's market. Addressing the event, President Sang said that businesses of both sides have made significant progress in their economic, trade and investment partnership, which serves as the foundation for the growth of the Vietnam-U.S. ties. He hoped that U.S. businesses raise their strong voice to the U.S. government to recognize Vietnam's market economy status and remove barriers against Vietnamese products. Also on September 25th, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Phạm Bình Minh delivered a speech at a high-level dialogue on poverty reduction at the UN headquarters. He shared Vietnam's impressive attainments in the work, with poverty ratio reduced to 8% in 2014 from 58% in 1993. He held that in order to secure sustainable poverty reduction, it is crucial to have a multidimensional approach to poverty, as Vietnam has applied in its new strategy. He highlighted the need to continue fostering collaboration and global partnership for development, with the UN playing the role of a consultant and coordinator. Addressing a high-level event themed From Global Conversation to Global Action Making, the Sustainable Development Goals work, Deputy Prime Minister Minh underscored prerequisite conditions for success in the field, including high-level political commitment, a peaceful and stable environment for development, a focus on the people as the owner, driver, and beneficiary of development efforts, and a strong global partnership for sustainable development that aims to leave no one behind.
Vice Chairwoman of the National Assembly, Tong Thị Phóng, has urged all countries to step up the implementation of the United Nations Millennium Development Goals on gender equality and improvements of female social skills at the first Asian European Women's Forum. Addressing the forum, the Vietnamese legislative leader proposed enhancing technical cooperation and experience sharing among Asian and European nations towards ensuring women and girls access to healthcare, education, and other services. Vice Chairwoman Phóng reported that Vietnam has closely worked with regional countries to protect and promote the rights of women and girls, as well as making active contributions to UN mechanisms and international forums on women. Vietnam has also worked continuously to improve its legal system on gender equality, and has thus far effectively implemented a national master plan and other programs focusing on the matter, she said. She cited some figures as examples of the country's success in promoting gender equality, including a 48% of female workers in the local workforce and 24.4% of female deputies among the National Assembly's members. 90% of the female citizens are literate. The network of women entrepreneurs is expanding, helping the nation achieve significant progresses. The Asian European Women's Forum was held in Russia's St. Petersburg from September 24th to 25th, with the aim of strengthening women's roles in building a sustainable world. Moving on to economic news, the Vietnam Wood and Forestry Product Association forecasts the country will record a year-on-year growth of 10% in export of timber and timber products this year. More details come up next.
According to the association, the last quarter was the working season of the wood industry, and now wood processing enterprises had numerous export contracts, though the country could reach its wooden export target of $7 billion. This is good news for the wood industry after a few years of experiencing difficulties in production and business. The industry had gained 15 to 20% each year before 2010, but it came down to 10% per year afterward until now. However, for a long time, the industry continued facing difficulties from changes in the exchange rate between the Vietnamese dong and the US dollars and barriers from the free trade agreements. The industry also faces certain problems with free trade agreements, including the certificate of origin of wooden material. For local firms, especially small and medium enterprises, this is a big problem, as they have not paid much attention to the origin of the source. According to the General Department of Customs, Vietnam gained a year-on-year increase of 9.4% in total export value of wood and wooden products to $4.35 billion for the first 8 months of this year. The 4 largest export markets of Vietnamese wooden products were the US, Japan, the EU, and China. During the first 8 months of this year, the US was the largest export market of Vietnamese wood and wooden products, accounting for 39% of the total value and reaching a year-on-year surge in export value of 19.3% to $1.69 billion. Following the US was Japan, accounting for 1% of the total export value and gaining a year-on-year increase of 3.2% in export value to $654 million.
The capital city of Hanoi continued seeing positive economic development in the third quarter, with gross regional domestic product growth of 9.2%, higher than those of the previous quarters and the same period last year. According to the Municipal Department of Planning and Investment, the city's gross regional domestic product rose 8.3% in the first 9 months of 2015, the highest rise in the last 4 years. Growth was seen in all major economic sectors, ranging between 8.2% and 11.9% for industry, construction and services. Meanwhile, agriculture saw the modest growth rate of 2%. The city welcomed about 1.6 million foreign visitors, up 13.8% year-on-year. Total budget collection in the reviews period was estimated at 105.89 trillion dong, equivalent to 74.7% of the estimate. Inflation continues to be under control, while consumer price index rose 0.71%, the lowest rise in many years. In a bid to boost business, the cities allocated $2.9 million to a trade and investment program and spent 1.6 million dong to support local enterprises. However, the capital's exports remains low, despite a slight 2.9% rise in the third quarter and 0.2% in the first 9 months, far below the targeted 8 to 9%. Traditional export products like rice and coffee declined 6.6% and 21% respectively, while exports to major markets like Russia and the US also declined. The city is planning to roll out stronger measures to support businesses, especially in capital and markets, in an effort to fulfill the growth goal of 9 to 9.5% for the whole year. The Mid-Autumn Festival, known as Trung Thu in Vietnamese, is a familiar tradition in some Asian countries. Trung Thu is traditionally a time for family reunions with focus on children. Stay tuned for more details on this special festival.
Days away from Trung Thu, which comes on the 15th day of the 8th lunar month, Thuy took her children to participate in a toy-making activity held in a Hanoi-based museum. She wants her sons to get better insight into the traditional values of this festival.
In the Mid-Autumn Festival, I usually buy my children star-shaped lanterns and take them to places like this.
Parents also buy their children traditional toys, an indispensable part of the Mid-Autumn Festival. Given the dynamic pace of life, the most popular item is still star lantern. A lantern made by piercing holes in an old milk can was commonplace for many children in rural Vietnam in the past.
I am taken here to play folk games and make a star-shaped lantern by myself.
As the Mid-Autumn Festival nears, cute masks and colorful lanterns mushroom around every corner, signaling a bustling Trung Thu season. Giving gifts to children on this occasion is a significant activity, manifesting the community's dedication to them as the future of our society. Another indispensable part of Trung Thu is mooncakes, which are circular baked cakes, bánh nướng, and snow-skin mooncake, bánh dẻo. Nowadays, most people buy mooncakes at shows, while some like to make them on their own as gifts for their children and relatives. Ingredients for a traditional baked mooncake include flour, sugar, meat fat, Chinese sausage, pumpkin seeds, sugar-coated lotus seeds, and a piece of salted duck egg. Snow-skin mooncake is made with similar ingredients, but with the addition of a sticky rice coat. In a modern life, mooncakes are also made with various stuffing and shapes to meet different tastes. Evenings during the festival are a time for family members to sit together, nibble pieces of mooncake, and sip cups of tea under the full moon and cool weather. The best part of the night is the lantern parade, when the children carry lanterns and walk behind dancing lions. Despite the fast-growing socio-economic life, the traditional values of the Mid-Autumn Festival remain unchanged and require further conservation.
Đây đèn ông sao xa năm cánh tươi vàng, anh sao sáng người chiều miền non ngàn. Em cầm đèn sao em hát vang vang, để ánh hoa bình được rồi lại xâm lan. Tung sinh sinh, tung 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 sinh.
And that has wrapped up our daily bulletin. Thank you for tuning in and goodbye for now.